So I'm with Robert Rippberger, the filmmaker behind Renner, a movie that really caught me by surprise. Is that one of the reasons why you wanted to direct this movie? Because I feel it's a movie that I think will catch people unawares in a good way.
It's fun, huh? I've been such a huge Hitchcock fan, and I felt like Luke and Martin Medina, the writers, had captured something really special and unique and modern that was Hitchcockian in a way. And that's why, yeah, I was very, very happy to sign on to direct the project. It keeps you guessing, but at the same time, as a director, there's like you have to be nuanced. And so that also I was up for the challenge to take audiences through and yeah, pleased to hear you liked it and were entertained.
Personally, as a cinephile, I'm a sucker for movies that have an indie budget, but they make the most out of their budget and not complain about it, meaning the production design is on point. The shot composition makes the movie feel more immersive than the dollar sign projects. And sometimes you can have a big budget movie that doesn't have that imagination. You mentioned there's a IG photo of you and Alexander Payne, and you're talking about attention to detail. What kind of attention to detail do you need working with the budget you had for Renner, but still make it a visually immersive experience?
It's a great question, and I often look at sort of the distance between, indie films and studio film as if you're playing, street ball on a broken court against NBA players. And and you can't complain, and that's what it is. And studio films get, a month of reshoots and testing for audiences, and you don't get any of that. So you better bring your A game, and that means detail. That means every little thing needs to be seen ahead of time if possible, needs to be tested. You need to be hiring the best people you have the utmost confidence in. And, I've been 36 and they wrote recently, I'm an industry veteran. I don't know about that, but I've made a number of films. And so I have an amazing team around me that we've pulled together and that then they bring this sort of A caliber game that allows us to really sort of break out of that lower budget mold and put something in front of audiences that is as compelling and as entertaining as a blockbuster film would be.
Obviously, you cast Frankie knowing that he would do the job, but knowing working and collaborating with him, did he even surprise you with the places he took Renner? Because without giving too much away, there's a lot of emotional depth and arc that he has to traverse within the narrative.
I think we both were surprised at where the character went and how we got there and how it turned out on screen. And we were both exceptionally proud of the work that came out. Frankie at one point said, he's like, every single day I've left set, I've been proud of the work I've been doing, and it's rare. I've known that I've done good work, and that's really a testament of our process and getting there, but also his commitment. I mean, he is carrying this film the entire time. There's very few scenes. There's one, maybe two, where he's not in it. Otherwise, it is Frankie's show nonstop, and that's a lot of pressure. He hit it out of the park, and I'm really excited for audiences to see this side of Frankie. We have seen him in Malcolm and so many other movies, and this is a depth and a range that is quite remarkable, and I think audiences will really appreciate.
I feel like I'm feeding you a question here, but this is actually what surprised me about catching me unawares. I'm looking at Renner and I'm thinking, okay, cool. It's going to be a genre-fied, maybe thriller, action, suspense elements about the dangers of AI. Well, actually not. It's about the dangers of staying to your routine and not coming out of your shell and trying to socialize with your next door neighbor, literally. Well, maybe not, but it's going back to Hitchcock. Well, maybe it's just a pure Hitchcockian thriller, or maybe it's an existential drama. And it's kind of all of those things. Is that why? Did you find those layers when you were reading Renner, or is that did that maturation evolve as the production went on?
For me, that we started on the film before AI had blown up into what it is now. In retrospect, it's like, oh, of course there would be an AI film, but this was, we filmed this 2 years ago. And it was written even before that, the first time I read the script, even before that. So there was no ChatGPT. I tried to immerse myself in this guy's sort of headspace. And so what I did is I downloaded these like companion apps where you could talk to this like bot, and it would, and sort of try to better understand like what this guy was experiencing and feeling, and sort of this deep loneliness that he was drawing on. Ultimately, I realized that it's not a movie about technology, and we have to go to something that's very primordial in order to really make it universal. And this is really a movie about a man's relationship with his mother, which again makes it so Hitchcockian.
Without naming the movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, you could read all of his movies as that.
Oh,
Um, but ultimately, that yeah, that's where it was to go, and it was, if there's a little sort of nuance to it, it was that it was about not sort of taking advice or sort of blindly following those outside of oneself,
yeah. You
and
know,
that I felt was really powerful and universal.
so you and I have thrown Hitchcock quite a bit within the last several minutes around, and
Indeed.
that's a big name. But I want to continue that thread with Violett Beane. I've seen her
Mm,
in stuff, but in your film, she just really feels like a star. I mean, we mentioned Hitchcock with Kim Novak and Eva Marie Saint, all these wonderful actresses. But did you know
yeah.
that when you're looking on your edit, were you surprised at how much she pops off as a just sort of an A-lister kind of presence? I feel as I don't know how you feel. You're the person who's actually shooting and cutting it. So
Yeah. I mean, she has a sort of inner fire within her that I knew was essential for this part. And I agree with you. She's total A-lister, and for me it was essential that, you can be an A-lister, but in the scene that sort of fire isn't given space to run. And so it was essential that the relationship between the two, because they're holding really long scenes, just the two of them. It was essential that that performance is really, really ignited. And I think we together, the three of us found a tremendous way of navigating it on a tight schedule. I think as Violet had her game here, Frankie's game was here, and then, it was just kind of riveting to watch, and as the edit was coming together, it was a lot. It was really, really tremendous to work with them and explore these characters and put it on its feet.
on life experience, you were talking about. I was listening to a podcast where you said you grew up in Colorado and you were doing stories way back when.
Yeah,
Did the kid in you back then realize one day that as a industry veteran, you would be able to work with Marcia Gay Harden as a voice? How awesome is that? Just the cinephile in you as a kid, and now an industry veteran, just to know that you're collaborating with Marcia Gay Harden.
there's definitely a lot of moments of like, pinch yourself type thing. It's I think a lot of people want to be storytellers, and there's few of us that are lucky enough to be making films consistently, and then to be working with these great, great people. Yeah, it's tremendous. And to be what's nice about it is you really realize that these are artists. These are artists who really deeply care about their work as much as I care about their work, and then the sort of human connection happens, and then the art happens when we take in the script. And she had some really fantastic ideas and ways of thinking about the character that didn't immediately come to mind, and that's why these people succeed and continue on, and in her case win Academy Awards. It's that sophistication as an artist, which I think is really emboldening to other people who want to be artists, that it's really the details that matter. It's really the nuance that matters. It's not, sort of playing into what one would think, which is also, I guess, kind of what the plot of the movie is. But yeah, it's the real deal that really does prevail.
Robert, I guess it starts off with a pen and pad, supposedly the cliche. It starts off with a story, and then maybe one becomes a director, maybe a producer, editor, becomes a film. But where does one have the dream to not just make a film, but to get some land out there and have a studio out, maybe possibly in North Carolina, and see that
Mm.
vision? Because making a film is from outside looking in, it's a grand vision in and of itself. But it seems to me that having a big facility like that is sort of like traveling to the Americas on the ocean. Where did that dream for you originate?
It all comes from the love of film and wanting to make movies and more movies and bigger movies and shortcut the process from green lighting one film to the next. And the market has been really challenging for a lot of people over the years. And so it pushes sort of consolidation and just dreaming bigger about things. And so it's really that. It's really to do art on a grander scale, to make more films. And so it doesn't seem like a sort of scary voyage, to the Americas. It seems just, well, this is what's needed to accomplish the goal, so let's do it.
Wow. And is it going to be, are you going to be out there for quite a while then? Because that's a really great project, and I'm excited to see all the films that we will be coming out from that studio.
Yeah, we are starting construction, and I've got folks that are managing it and working on it, and I'll be there when needed, and certainly when making films out there. We've got a new movie that we're doing out that way in May, June. But yeah, otherwise, I'll be where I'm needed to get the film done, to recharge as an artist, and to get it back out there to give audiences really something that moves them, and that has a core to it, and that is as entertaining as possible.
Robert, final couple questions. I do this podcast called Find Your Film, and I ask filmmakers and actors
Mm.
to name maybe one of their all-time favorite films, either that or maybe a film that they feel is personally underrated that means a lot to them. Can you give our listeners a movie recommendation that is personal for you and what makes this specific film unique to your experience?
Yeah, there's a film called Black Cat, White Cat that I came across, and I tell people about it, and I often get people that have not seen it, and it is just so dynamic, so full of life, so much fun. Really about this young couple, and directing wise, he's really doing something unique. Each scene is just so packed with life that it's impossible to not love, and it's really something that's been film I go back to and love to share with friends, and I think your audience would greatly enjoy.
Robert, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed Renner.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. Really appreciate it.
And good luck on White Lightning Studios. Is that correct?
That's it. That's it. You got it.
Looking forward to a lot more films coming from down the pike.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews